welcome to Barley and Me. This is episode 103. We're here today at the Bash Punk Rock Festival. With us today, we got Arlo Grammatica from Ska Brewing.
How you guys doing?
And our special guest today, musician, writer, Aaron Carnes. How you doing?
Doing great.
So, we're here today for Bash Festival, which is a punk festival happening. So I think this is the last show of the tour, right?
Yeah, this is the last show of the tour, man. So we were in Phoenix, New Jersey, Boise, Tacoma, San Jose, and here. So
oh man,
it's been a wild one.
Yeah, how long has this been around?
Bash Fest. This is the first year of the Bash Fest.
Okay.
So, there's been some incarnations similar.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sabroso, Brouhaha, those sort of things.
Yeah.
But, this is the first Bash Fest, so it's been a great first time for us as well.
Yeah. Now you guys are out of Colorado, correct?
Yeah, Durango, Colorado.
And been around for 25 years?
Yeah, 24 years this year, so next year will be our 25th anniversary. We're excited for that. It's been a long trip, man. Who knew it would be 25 years later? I've been here 19 years.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't think I'd be here 19 years, so It's been amazing.
Yeah.
You so the time at the brewery started, ska music has kind of gone up and down in popularity.
Yeah, for sure.
Has the brewery taken that same trajectory, or has it gone its own path?
No, we were on our own path, man. We were like always booming up the beer. I mean, and now the craft beer is competitive. We've leveled off a bit, but in the beginning we were just selling beer, and it was funny. We there was those early years, 95 to about 98, probably. We were just waving the flag for ska because a lot of it had gone like down in the 2000s even, It was like, we're going to keep ska going, So it was one of those things, man. We're the beer. We always got the banner. Just bring the bands back.
So would you attract the ska people, or would you just attract the beer people?
We attracted both.
Yeah.
Yeah, our town is very small. Durango is like 16,000 people. The county's 40,000, And when the brewery started, we were basically selling beer into bars, They had all kinds of beer, Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. We got all kinds. What are you talking about?
Tons of variety.
Yeah, that was like, you guys were way ahead of the craft beer.
We had an amber ale
yeah.
pinch with skulls on it and stuff, and there were bartenders, and they were like, this is a little edgy, don't you think? We were like, yeah, man, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, we're going to represent the punk lifestyle, man. We got to have skulls on it.
Yeah.
We got bouncing souls going on. What do you want to do?
Kind of the motto was no fish or mountains or bikes on it, because that's what everybody in Colorado had on a beer, at the time. And the goal was just we like ska music. The three owners, Bill, Dave, and Matt, and owned it. And then Dave and Bill used to homebrew a lot when they were young, and they were always like, the beer tastes better when we play ska. So
for sure, yeah.
It became Ska Brewing.
So who's got some thieves?
Sorry, we're working a booth for you guys. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
So Thievery Corporation, that's a band. No. So were the founders like also in ska bands, or are they just like big fans of ska?
No, they just love ska.
Okay.
Like none of us can play any instruments.
Do you and have you get like people to come in and say, what is Ska Brewery? Why is you guys called Ska? Is that like a normal thing?
All the time, yeah. Is this SKA Brewing or Ska? We've had all.
Yeah. So you guys are explaining Ska to like people
constantly.
all the time. So you're doing the Lord's work. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We're telling about the three waves. We've done full like dissertations. I feel like there's three waves, and and we're doing this and that, and so man. It's been pretty fun.
Do you guys spin ska in the brewery when we have visitors?
Yeah. We do punk ska. I mean, we'll switch it up. We don't all, but for the most part, we always try to spin ska.
Yeah. Nice.
If a ska band comes to ask to play, we usually let them play if we can fit them in a schedule, And we've in our anniversary parties over the years, we've had. We've had the Scotalites, Toasters.
Oh yeah.
The Beat, English Beat.
Nice.
Not Mighty Bosstones. We want them if you're listening. Real Big Fish. We had Les and Jake on the bow, then the Hurricane, so they were able to make it. So that was a bummer. But this year we'll have Agrolites, Mustard Plug,
nice.
Toasters.
Did you do? I feel like I remember hearing about a product you did with Toasters. Did you do something with Toasters?
Yeah, we did Shebeen Black IPA.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really fun, man. We had a blast with that. I mean, that was in a big bomber. That was probably one of the first band collaborations we did with a beer.
What other bands have you collaborated with? I mean, Rancid's probably the biggest one, right?
Them and Rancid.
Just Toasters and Rancid?
Yeah, for now. We got some people asking. But, yeah, Rancid was a big deal. When the call came, we were like, I was at the ski area, like a Christmas break. I was up there skiing. I get this call. I'm at the bar, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to give you until Monday. I got to go talk to everybody. Yeah, but it was a big... It was crazy. I was like, I about dropped the phone in the snow. I was like, what? They want to make a beer?
So they reached out to you guys.
Yeah, a guy that used to work on the brew. Funny story. I was backstage in San Diego. We somehow snuck backstage and it was watching Rancid. He comes up. He's like, "What are you doing, Arlo?" I was like, "Just hanging out." He's like, "Sweet." And I was probably a little buzzed. I was like, "Hey, if Rancid ever wants to make a beer, we're down." And then he calls me up. He's like, "Remember when you said if Rancid wants to?" I was like, yeah, sort of. And he's like, "Well, they do." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, nice.
No, that's rad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just
running your mouth does.
Yeah.
Still has advantages sometimes.
The worst they can do is say no.
Yeah, man.
If you ask them. Yeah. So, Aaron, you have a book coming out.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So my book's called In Defense of Ska. It's coming out in November on Clash Books. It's a rigorous defense of ska music.
Yeah, so how did you get into figuring that out?
Well, I've been a music journalist for a number of years.
Oh,
and
nice.
so like being a music journalist and liking ska, you kind of know that you like the music that everyone else makes fun of.
Yeah,
So-
they do, man.
So I've been wanting to write about ska for a while, and I was kind of doing interviews, and I realized in order to tell the story of ska, I had to defend it, and I had to explain why it was worth everybody's attention.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's funny how it gets people start to make a little bit of fun of it. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
you like it. You know, you're bouncing your head and tapping your foot.
Yeah, it's a fun time. What do you?
I think it's
Who doesn't love brass? First of all, who doesn't love brass? Everybody loves it.
I think it's because like the things that are good about it are why people hate it because it's fun, because it's kind of disarming, because it's like has some happiness, some joy to it. Of course, it's like it can never be cool music.
Yeah.
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 It's much too exotic for mainstream acceptance. Remember that?
But you know, like in 2001, that was probably like peak ska hatred, right?
Yeah.
That was probably what
Yeah, it was really like
people were running away from the genre.
Yeah, yeah.
But not you guys. You guys were ska defenders, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, always,
For sure.
always. We've been, we've always been defending it and just telling people. We just, I don't know, we didn't really get in anybody's face, but we were just like, we like this, and this is what we're gonna do, and it's part of our brewery. And if you don't like it, I guess you don't have to. You don't. But
What's the most like ska defending thing you guys feel like you've ever done as a company aside from existing?
oh man, I think we just explain it a lot and
Just
defend
explain it, yeah.
and I think just giving a home to like bands and stuff, up and coming bands, and just offering them a place to play, because there was a time when Bart like, no, a ska band, we're not gonna play, we're not bringing you in. We're like, no, you can play here, play at our brewery. And I mean, we had bands play on dirt on a piece of carpet before, They're like, so that was a fun time.
Yeah, so you guys have made this Brewstomper with Rancid, which is like a golden ale.
Yeah, Golden Ale.
Just a light, crisp, refreshing beer for this long, hot day.
Yeah, we got on the phone with Matt Freeman, and he knew the beer, and he basically said, I just don't want an IPA. So I was like, okay, we know how to make beers. We can make them all. So, and we all came together on this, and Tim Armstrong did the label for the brewery, and we added some of our touches to ska stuff, and then it was one of the quickest labels we've ever done. Everybody agreed really quick, and it was like amazing to have that
great.
just come out that quick. And when you got different artists and people coming together, you're always worried there's going to be a clash. But everybody was just like, "Yeah, I like it." And they're like, "We like it. Let's do it."
It's very simple.
Yeah.
It gets to the point. I like it a lot. It's a very
I mean, that was the goal. We wanted to take it back to the old ska punk days where you were crushing a beer can on your head and throwing it at your friend. So,
I like that. I like that it's light, but it still has flavor too. It's not like it's got a little bite to it, but not overpowering. Sure. Yeah.
So when the book comes out, what's how are you defending ska? Are you just telling people you love it, or what's the game?
Well, the book is actually organized in like a kind of like essays, stories.
Cool.
So I actually interviewed like probably over 100 people.
Nice.
So I do tell a lot of stories, a lot of little pieces of ska history that probably, because ska hasn't been properly documented because people don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
But there's also like essays where I just outright defend it and talk about, kind of argue against what people say about it. But I also like tell its history and everything else.
So like, do you go way back deep, like into the reggae years, with like Bob Marley and all that?
I focus mostly on the 80s and 90s because I feel like most people are okay with Jamaican ska, and I feel like two-tone has pretty much earned its place.
Yeah.
I think it's like everyone says that after two-tone, that's where it died, and that's where it went bad. But I disagree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff that happened after two-tone.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of nice blends of genres, and it really formulated a really cool new thing. So.
And you had like 8 bands on the radio, but there was like 1,000 bands.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks like those 8 bands on the radio, that's 90s ska.
Yeah.
But there was so many like amazing bands that were just like,
man,
like who are some of your top bands?
Oh man, funny. We've had some smaller bands from those times that I've loved. Like there's a band called Warsaw.
Oh yeah.
That I used to, like the two brothers would switch instruments mid-set and all that and do all kinds of stuff. And then there was there was a band out of Utah called My Man Friday.
Okay.
And
is that getting?
We're testing the music, man.
Just testing it out. Here we go.
Do we keep talking?
Let's keep talking.
Yeah, so
let's see how good this can be.
We were definitely, some of those. And I've always loved the bigger bands, Real Big Fish and those guys. And I mean, all the way back to Toasters and Specials and all that. But
Specials are the best, of course.
We just had some of those. Those guys were always coming through, those bands, and we just gave them a place to play, and they kept it going through all those times,
Yeah. I was like a lot of the kind of the diverse bands, because like your ME330s or your Siren 6 or your Blue Meanies, like the bands that were like different than what people perceived as ska.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like really showed the diversity of the music.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the Warsaw. They always threw a little Irish kick in there and stuff, and you were like, what, man?
Yeah. So what we're hearing here, this is ska, yeah?
Yeah, this is ska. You like it, right?
Ska?
It's a new kind, a new version.
Yeah. It's 2019 ska. This is where it's become. It's a very strange choice for sound checks on this.
Right, trying to get the bass. They're working on the bass.
Now, Aaron, you also have a band.
I do,
Is this what you would use for sound check music?
Yeah. I have a not ska band called Narboots.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's like more electronic.
Oh, more electronic.
Yeah, but I did have a ska band in the 90s, so I'm covered.
You're there. You got it.
I love your band. It's very fun. It's very interactive, which I enjoy.
Yeah, it's like we don't play on stage. We just like play in the audience. Yeah,
sounds cool. You need to play like Meow Wolf in Santa Fe.
Yeah. The other member, he went there like about 6 months ago, and he just was like,
"Oh, blows your mind, man."
He's like trying to figure out how to play there. Actually,
yeah. Speaking the stage is amazing, and it's cool.
Yeah, dude, it is so fun. And then you've also been doing a lot of journalism, like. You actually had yourself scooped at one point, essentially. Somebody kind of took your research. I was like, hey, we're going to make an article about this thing that Aaron Carnes dug up previously.
Oh, I think somebody did a roundup of my article, so it wasn't really like a scoop. It was more like they referenced my article. So I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. That's good.
I did an article on artificial intelligence and music.
Oh wow!
For Playboy, yeah, it was pretty intense. Work I did. I went to Google. Met with their artificial intelligence creativity team.
Holy,
it's pretty neat.
Yeah. We just brewing beer. That seems way smarter than us. That's awesome.
I just drink beer. I don't even do any of this stuff.
So how is the artificial? I can't even say
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, how is that work?
I mean, I think it's like not really the scary monster everyone thinks it is.
Oh, okay.
It's really like an advanced tool that artists can use.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just independently make music. It involves people programming it, and how you program it reflects your artistic sensibilities.
Oh, okay.
And it spits out stuff in the vein of what you would create, because you're sort of teaching it the language.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, it's more like, how do I transition from this bit to this bit? Maybe I can help you out with that.
But you feed it like stuff that you would do, so it kind of gets a sense of like, you go from this note to this note often. You kind of use these chords often. It dissects your creativity.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's interesting like way to look at creativity.
So it looks at Ska and goes, you're doing the same thing again, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you like horns a lot.
I really like horn. I don't think you need another horn. Wait, there's not 15 people up here?
Like, we did the research. Turns out it's all the same.
That unfortunately was one of the hardest parts about bringing bands in. You're like, okay, we need like 8 hotel rooms for 2 bands.
Yeah. It's not a cost-effective.
I've seen some 9-piece bands fit on some small stages, like over the years.
Yeah, I mean, you learn how to like slam that all in.
Like trombones going right by people's faces.
Yeah. When I was
that's always crazy. Like,
when I was in a band,
spatial awareness.
In the 90s, we used to tour, and we had to tour in like 2 minivans.
Yeah.
So that's like, I mean, fortunately, gas was cheap in the 90s.
Yeah.
So we could kind of break even, but yeah. Can't imagine now, like touring with 2 minivans. Like you would just lose so much money.
Yeah, you just like you don't make any money.
Yeah. How do you handle stage awareness, like with a spatial awareness, having 5, 6, 7 guys on stage on a tiny little bar stage? How do you even handle like not killing each other with something?
Yeah, I play drums, so.
Fine.
But I think everyone
kind
of gets used to their space and. Everyone gets used to the energy of the member because some guys are very like docile and some guys are very just crazy. So everyone kind of works it out.
Yeah,
we play a couple shows.
Yeah, it's crazy watching shows where like it almost happens like 8 or 9 times per song. We're like, these guys are going to kill each other by mistake, and they never do. It's like so close, over and over again. I love it. Yeah. But it's crazy.
That is great when you go to like a show and it has like the tiniest stage and there's like a 9-piece ska band.
Yeah, man.
And they're just like, they don't even have room to dance.
No,
they're just like, we're going to try.
It was interesting stuff, man.
More ska?
Yeah,
warming up the ska.
What are you curious about ska?
First of all, I'm trying to place this track, which I absolutely know.
So this right here is ska.
Yeah, this is ska. This is exactly what you're looking for when you're listening to ska.
Yeah. For the bass line,
I am wondering who's picking this music for this ska festival.
It is the sound check.
Pre-show music. I'm gonna be so mad when I figure out what this is. It's for sure peaking. We're doing great. Oh, it's Chevelle. I'm like, I know that. This is 20 years old.
What is this?
It's Chevelle.
Chevelle?
Yeah. They're 3 brothers from Chicago. They used to be a Christian band, and then like, we're not Christians. And then one of the brothers on the band. It's This is 2001 for sure. 2002.
I see. Yeah.
God damn it.
I know.
I hate this album.
There'll be a lot of dead. You gotta cut out a lot of weird stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Biggest Colorado ska band is what? 5 Iron Frenzy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
5 Iron Frenzy?
Yeah.
Christian ska?
Yeah. Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's been a few that come through and gone, and man, we've lost a lot of them. They still keep in contact with us and talk about playing and coming back together and stuff.
Yeah.
We're always like, tell us when, we'll try to fit you in, man.
But so I have a question. Since we're listening to Chevelle, a recovering Christian band.
Yeah.
Were there any like Christian ska bands you were into?
So I think 5 Iron Frenzy were the best.
5 Iron Frenzy was, yeah, right.
The OC Supertones were okay.
And, Mixed Picks, but that's more pop punk, I guess.
What'd you say?
Mixed Picks, MXPX.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they're more like pop punk, right?
The best Christian band, not ska, best Christian band of all times, Danielson.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Winger.
Guys. They're so weird.
Yeah, they're very weird.
They're so strange.
They're so weird that they were on a Christian label, and then the Christian label dropped them because no Christians liked them, and then they got picked up by a non-Christian label.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when Tower went out of business, I definitely bought a bunch of Danielson albums.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I had a bunch of... my first concert I ever went to was at this place in Grafton, North Dakota, called H's Cellar. It was a random dude's literal basement, and he brought in all these Christian bands from all over the world that would come play. So I got to see, like, Living Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Take up a stage in this guy's basement that was maybe, like, 8 feet wide. It was so... And they had 2 drummers, so... no space for anything. And they're like, yeah, we're going to play with this punk band from Canada, and then there's going to be some other band. It was like, and they're like, oh, their equipment got like stopped at the border, so they're going to play with these metal bands instruments. Like we got to tune it different. Like it was so fun, dude.
No, man.
I grew up Christian, so I've been to a number of Christian concerts. I got to see DC Talk live.
Oh,
I saw DC
yeah.
Talk.
I couldn't go. I wasn't allowed to go.
I was young. Before I rebelled and decided I wasn't going to do that
I
anymore.
love the best part was like
DC Talk.
Yeah, they would go like
that's a blast.
because there was like one black guy and 2 white guys. So the black guy was like, "I'm chocolate," and then the white guy goes, "I'm vanilla," and then the other white guy goes, I think he goes like, "What did he say?" Like, "I'm." Swirl. I'm swirl because I'm chocolate on the inside.
Oh boy. Oh, the 90s. What?
Yeah, boy, the things you could say back then.
Yeah.
No one even thought.
So funny.
I remember going to when I saw DC Talk, we had to go to a series of classes before it, and there was like this whole dissertation on how bad Metallica was, and we were all like, whatever, we're done, we're done with this.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a question. So there's these famous writers from Colorado. They're like Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Do you know them?
Oh yeah.
They had this movie
we all know 'em.
They had this movie where like there's just ska bands playing constantly. Do you know the movie at all?
What movie are you talking about?
Basketball?
Basketball.
Oh yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah.
I love that
like
movie.
Yeah.
Constantly.
They ever pop in and be like, "Hey, we want a beer real quick. We're millionaires, and we appreciate what you're doing here."
We've never met them. I wish I could have, but
they've forgotten their
they're
roots.
the pride of the CU film department. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cannibal
might
the
have
Musical.
started it.
So funny. Have you seen Cannibal the Musical?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Wonderful
They're
stuff.
just amazingly creative guys, man. It's like funny that they were in Colorado, and like I grew up about 30 minutes from South Park, so it's not that far off. It's always really cold and windy. And
That's what the show's known for.
cusses up a
The
storm.
cold and the wind.
My wife's from Colorado too.
Oh, she is.
She's from Louisville, I think.
Oh, Louisville,
yeah,
up near
yeah.
Denver. So I grew up in Salida in the middle of the state and all that. So, so for me as a young child, it was a challenge just to get any kind of music that wasn't like country. So we were all metalheads, and then I like punk, and then the ska. I really started getting into ska more into college when I was in college.
Yeah.
Like, just like,
Yeah,
I learning really what it was. And
And it's great for college parties. Like, keeps the energy up. You don't have to, like, pay too much attention. It's just there.
yeah. And
Super fun.
How many ska shows have you been to in your life?
One.
One.
There we go.
Whoa, that's
played?
something we should have
I
to
could not
remedy.
tell you. I feel like I've seen Five Iron Frenzy at that
Yeah, it was Five Iron
aforementioned
Frenzy.
H's Cellar because they just threw everybody together.
We may have to fix that. You have to find some more. You have to come get some more ska shows, man.
Maybe.
They're still fun, and we love it. And the beer goes well, and we've had a whole history with the ska in our brewery. We really started out. We wrote a comic book. Boy, we're getting it all in today.
Yep. You know what?
Amazing.
You know what I remembered? I have headphones, and you can hear us.
It's going?
It's fine.
They need to sound check every genre. To make sure it works.
Yeah. Just what does this crowd want to hear?
Yeah.
It's not really clear to me what this crowd will want to hear at this event.
Yeah. So to finish the story, if it works, we wrote a whole comic book. We called to start the brewery. That was basically like the business plan was this comic book, and all of our labels except for the like Brewstomper stuff that are newer, we're all connected. So we have a evil Pinstripe Red who is like the AKA Budweiser. He sold rot guts and beer all through the town of Durango, and we would sell our beer speakeasy style in the back, and then the comic ends with Lana Lovabond is our heroine of the story, and she's like the secretary of first, and she like kicks his head off in a bowling alley, and that's kind of how we got like a lot of the theme of our stuff. And we had one printing of the comic book, and we're trying to get the second one written up and done, but
Nice.
comic books are expensive to make. So
Yeah, they are.
It took us like 20 years to get the first one out, so hopefully we'll get the second out before we're 40.
Yeah, so you've been with the company for 19 years. How have you seen the craft beer movement change, and how have you seen ska kind of change over the years? I imagine ska's like, no, we're still here, we're still standing, same as we've ever been. But I imagine the beer movement, especially in Colorado, has got to be very strange.
The craft beer movement has had a lot of changes. It went from when I started selling beer, or 95-ish, you were constantly just trying to get beer in. You're trying to get past the main three, Miller, Bud, Coors, PBR. And then it got to where there was a nice fine line of you're like, okay, that guy's my buddy, that guy's my buddy. I like their beer. And, there's still a couple more Coors handles. We'll try to go for that. I'll get that spot in the store. And then it's boomed into so many beers now that you're just like, can I fit? Can somebody put me? And there's a lot of local breweries, and you'll never win against the local guys, and you don't want to, and so you're just trying to find your balance now. I think it's trickier to find like where you fit in a market and how you're gonna set yourself apart.
Yeah. So since like craft brewery is more popular now, has it made it easier or harder for you? Like, are you like sort of grandfathered in a way, or are you like, is it like more competitive?
Yeah, it's more competitive. Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, I've already had that beer, so they want the new stuff, and it's harder, and it's as your brewery grows, it's harder to be more nimble. Yeah. So you have trouble, like a younger or newer brewery that's smaller, they're like, oh, we just crank out a new beer next week, and everybody's trying it, we're like, man, that's like submitting a can and waiting 6 weeks, and so you just can't move that quick. And, so it's definitely more competitive, and it's trickier.
And it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, if you go away from your core brand, people are going to complain. If you don't keep up with times, people are going to complain. It's like you got to kind of balance that.
And I will tell you, like, we never would have made a hazy beer 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Nobody would have.
That looked disgusting. We're like, that beer's not right. Get that. Yeah. Don't ever put that
Nobody's
out.
drinking that.
Don't ever do that. And now, it's the hot thing. So, I guess we could quote Operation. All I know is that I don't know anything.
That's the truth. Yeah. So actually, my first experience with your beer was drinking a modus operandi.
Oh, nice.
At my sister's wedding. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Where was that?
It was in Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. Yeah, we do sell in Kansas City.
Yeah. It was a few years back, and I was like, hey, this kind of fits. I love IPAs. I just met her husband to be. And he looks just like all of her ex-boyfriends. So this is her modus operandi.
It's her modus operandi.
They all look the same.
We try to, like, that label, especially people are always like, so modus operandi, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, that's Latin for modus operandi. Is your MO? And we have to explain a lot of that as well. Like, sure. Yeah. And we put stuff around the top of the cans, if you want to, you can look at some of our cans, those words.
To me, it kind of look. When I look at it, I don't know what you guys see, but I kind of see like a Reservoir Dogs type thing going on.
Yeah, well, see, and that's part of the comic book. So, in the comic book, that's Evil Pinstripe, and that's just Henchman, so that was kind of where we took it. And we did kind of have a Reservoir Dog thing going.
Well, I mean, it's not unusual for like a ska band to wear suits, so it's not like some crazy thing where you're like taking it from somewhere else. You're taking it from where you're from.
Yeah. So it was like, and we've always trying to keep the theme of the stuff going. And I admit, like, and that's one of the changes too. When we first put our stuff out, like we were talking earlier, everybody was like dogs and beautiful, glorious mountains, and we were like, man, we were some of the edgier labels out there. The people were like skulls and weird. What's this dancing guy? And like,
nice.
And so, we definitely we're pushing the envelope in '95 with some of that.
I would say even like a ska-themed brewery is still kind of an outlier in like today's brewery scene too.
Yeah, and there's still people that don't understand it at all. You know? I mean, like we said, like I'm always, somebody's like, ska, what's that mean? And like, what is that? Is that for like 3 letters for something? I'm like, no, it's a type of music. And then I go into the whole history as best I can, and let them know. And then people are like, and then usually I'll name a band that they've heard of, one of the popular radio bands, and they're like, oh, that's ska.
Or you're like, the music playing right now.
Yeah.
Again,
all. You
now they're actually
even like Bob Marley was kind of ska. What, really? What?
Yeah.
He's the one that slowed it down.
So, Aaron, anything you want to bring up that people should know about your book, about you, about ska, about anything?
I think we covered it. It's coming out in November. We're in the editing process right now, so
yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
we'll have
Clash
to make sure
books. We should do an event at the brewery.
Yeah,
would you be into that?
Yeah, yeah, we should totally figure. Yeah, of course. We need to figure something out. Sure, that'd be cool. Have some people come out and do a little, somehow do a reading, maybe.
Yeah. Is this your first book?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've actually been working on it for like 6 years.
Yeah, I bet there's been a lot of material to like sift through and
I did like probably 40, 50 interviews like years ago. I kind of didn't really know what I was. I didn't really have my
how
angle.
it was going to come together.
But I just kept interviewing bands and just trying to figure out what it is I wanted to say about ska. And then it came to me. I was like, I need to defend it.
Just defend it. I'm sure they have some good road stories too. Like you said, piled 2 minivans strong, just ripping around the country.
I got some good road stories. Did you ever hear about Let's Go Bowling?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how their van got shot up?
No.
You never heard that story?
They got shot up?
Yeah. They were in Riverside after a gig, driving home like 2 or 3 a.m. And then like they just felt like 4 like bullets go through the van.
No way.
And like one guy got like his finger hit.
Oh,
but nobody got like
nobody got
killed.
Hit. Believe it. Wow.
They like pulled over and they like looked at the van and there was like bullet holes coming out of it.
Was it just some random shots?
As far as I knew, it was just some random like drive by, like just from the freeway.
Yeah.
And like what the crazy thing was is that like they had some friends come out to the show, and so like there was only like 4 people in the band. So. Like, who knows? If they had, like all, 8 or 9 members in the band.
Oh, yeah, somebody might have got killed. We might be telling a different story today. That would be
oh, my goodness.
That's so wild. I mean, over the years in the craft beer, it felt similar to, like, a budding band because there were no budgets, We would go out. I'd do a sales trip, and I'd be sleeping in my car in a parking lot in Flagstaff, Arizona or something. I'd go sell a bunch of beer, and somebody's like, did you just sleep? I'd come out of it, did you just sleep there last night? I'm like, yeah. One of my big distributors I pulled in Arizona, and he was like, the boss, as I leave the building, he goes, just don't let them know you slept in the van. And the first thing I opened up the van, my sleeping bag was there, and the guy's like, did you sleep in here last night? I was like, you weren't supposed to see that. Don't tell the owner.
It's like, hey, we're trying to make money. I'm trying to make it possible for everybody.
Yeah.
Like this, you do what you got to do when you're trying to hustle.
You talk about that now, but those were some of the funner years. I mean, when you were just like, that was a beer reps for all bros. We'd be like, there'd be 6 or 7 of us crashing in a room,
There's no story to, I went to a hotel and fell asleep watching HBO. There's no story there.
Yeah. You're staying in the, there's other beer guys out selling your beer, and we had that camaraderie thing going where we were like, we're all going to stick it to Budweiser, man. So, let's all 3 get a hotel room because that's all we can afford. It's like $20 each.
Let's go into this bar, sell our beer, and make it so that those aren't on tap anymore. And we are,
and then we're gonna go
win,
party, and then pass out a hotel room.
Yeah. Was there a year where you felt like you had kind of went no longer kind of being a scrappy company, but sort of like, okay, now we're established.
Yeah.
I don't have to sleep in my car anymore.
I don't know which year exactly, but there was a moment like. For us, it was probably about 10 years ago when we, the old brewery was just in a small room as it started, and we just kept taking over parts of a warehouse building until it was just pieced together and all random, and you had to go out one door to go to another door. And then when we built the new brewery in Durango, we were kind of like, all right, we're in the game now. This is a big part of what's going on, and we were a big part of the town. And the town was very into having us and building it there because they didn't want us to leave or anything. And so it was definitely that was probably about 10 years ago. So
even 10 years ago wasn't like
hadn't quite boomed.
Yeah, it was like people were more familiar with it, but it wasn't like 1 or 2 per town maybe.
It was really the real boom I think came right after 2000, after the dip in 2008, the recession. People were like, "Whoa, all these." Because I remember those years, and we all thought we were like, well, no one's going to spend money on beer, expensive beer, and those were some of our best years.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody was like, well, I'm broke, I might as well just get some beer and go home.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing unaffected by it every time is booze.
After that, though, you saw a big charge of and a new type of person getting breweries. Like before, it was us, and we were all dirtbags and running around like, man, if I just can make a living, I'll be stoked at this. And then you started seeing like investment bankers,
and you can
and
always
guys that are like,
them.
I'm going to fire up a brewery and sell it off in 3 years and for millions of dollars. And so that definitely put a different twist on the industry. But you know, I guess that's, you know, you're a product of your own success. You know, everybody, as you succeed, those things happen. So
But the beautiful thing is, at this point, people are so aware of beer that you can spot a person who's there for the money, as opposed to there's somebody who likes brewing beer.
Yeah.
Like, money'd be great, but I'm here for the beer.
Yeah.
Like,
now,
I mean, obviously they're a commercial enterprise; they want to make money. But like, you can be like, we are here to sell.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can spot them a mile away.
And
at
even
this
for
point.
us, it's about the importance of the employees and the welfare. You know, when I started, there was 8 of us, and now there's 75, and and trying to offer insurance plans and and all that for everybody, and just making sure that the place succeeds, but also has a quality of life for our employees as well.
Right.
You know? We encourage all of our employees; they all can buy in on a discounted ski pass. We encourage everybody to go mountain biking if they have time. Our packaging guys, there'll be a big powder day, and they'll call in and be like, we're going to go up to the ski area till noon. We're going to package till 9 o'clock at night, and everybody's like, fine.
Okay.
If you just have to have it done by midnight or by tomorrow morning when the truck leaves, we don't
as
care.
long as the work's done.
Yeah, so we try to encourage a lot of that in the employees as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice to be able to do that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Hopefully more businesses will start to do that. We learned that from a lot of our friends in New Belgium and Sierra Nevada, and some of those guys. They do a lot of really cool programs and
love their employees. It's very important.
We've been learning a lot of that from them and just doing what we can to our level. Sometimes we can't do as much as Sierra Nevada, but
so when did you guys decide we're Ska Brewing? We should probably expand our brand through the music. Like, when did that flash of inspiration come about?
Man, it's always kind of been the inspiration. It was just a matter of figuring out probably some budgets and stuff to get people to be a part of something like this, and to get to a point where we're like, wow, we can actually do that. That would have probably been the goal out of the gate. Just no one has, when you're doing 2,000 barrels, you don't have a budget for. We can give you some cases behind stage, if you want.
Can you drink our beer while you play?
Yeah,
is that
can you yell out thanks to Ska sometimes?
Yeah. It's like, I hope you guys like Ska. We do. Brewing. One more.
Yeah, so it's a lot of guerrilla marketing then, and then now you get to a point where you it was always would love to have done all that, But as we said, sometimes Ska is a little too obscure for people. So you're
it's a special person that likes it.
Yeah.
So
you can reach a potentially narrow audience, but whatever.
It's a loyal audience, though, right?
Super loyal.
Yeah, super loyal.
Yeah, I mean, we get calls from all over the world about beer, and we're in a ska band in Japan, and we're in a ska band, and we would love to try it. So it's fun.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting, and we actually do sell in some places out of the country. So
nice.
We do. Our Modus does really well in Sweden. We sell in France now, and Italy, and some UK. I just took a trip to Hong Kong to look at that, to kind of check it out. Maybe that might become a potential market.
Well, it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
What a terrible job you have, having to travel the world and sell your beer and listen to music.
Trying. That's another aspect. And as we revert back to how it's changed, I mean, if you'd have told me 19 years ago, it's like, oh, you're going to be taking trips to Sweden, and they're going to be drinking the hell out of Modus Operandi, I'd have been like, yeah, right.
I was just in Flagstaff.
I was like, weed's not legal yet, dude.
I was hoping I could be in Flagstaff at one point.
I was just slept in the van in Flagstaff. They don't have a van for me to sleep in over in Stockholm.
But sure. I'll be traveling the world. That's realistic.
Yeah, it was when that happened. That story was funny. I met his name is Jürgen and Justin. They own the importer in Sweden, and I was like, they came to a party we threw at the Craft Brewers Conference. We had a band called the Pinstripes play, and they were. We had a beer called the Pinstripe, and we had all these cans, and we did this place called the Cobra Lounge in Chicago. And this was a moment for Scott. We had a 3-hour wait to get into our party,
Nice.
People were calling me like, man, we're out front. Can you get me in? I'm like, dude, I can't even get to the door. It was like this, and everybody was hopping, and we were one of the first breweries, and like a lot of my brewery friends were there, and they were just like, they're like, I love you guys, man. You have a brewery party, and you're not sitting there like swirling it in the air. They're like, just crush them down and dance your heads off. And we blew through like 40 cases of beer and like all these people. And so the Swedes guys were there, and we stayed out till 5 a.m. just raging because Chicago, you can do that, you know. And we were out. I met him at 8, literally 3 hours later in the lobby of the hotel. I was like, how do we sell beer in Sweden? And he was like, he's like, send us a sample case and we'll see what happens. So I just got back to the brewery and I like told our girl, she's like, I'm like, send this beer to Sweden and don't tell anybody. I was a little nervous that the company wasn't going to be on board, and we sent it, and then they submitted it, and you have to go through a whole process to get submitted, and long story short, we actually lost to Green Flash by 1 point. They do a point system, and I was like, oh, man, and then they called me 3 weeks later, and they're like, Green Flash can't fill. Do you want to do it? And we were like, yes.
Nice.
But I need 3 extra weeks. He's like, and this is all through the government. He's like, you want me to tell the government you need 3 extra weeks because they screwed up? And I was like, yeah, tell them that. Yeah. And it worked out. They brought us in, and it sold fast. And it was in bottles at the time. And then we were the first American craft can to go in the Systembolaget system in Sweden.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
And so that's been a strong, strong market for us ever since. Like, it's been about 6 years now. So
yeah, I mean, if you're the first, people are going to keep coming back to it. That's
there
how
were other
works.
breweries, American breweries there, but the cans, so we had to send them a slew of sample cans because they recycle everything at the store level. And I had to make sure it all fit and everything, so that was cool.
And it's crazy how cans have taken off. They used to be this reviled thing.
Yeah.
I know. Now you're like, oh, it's not in a can? What are you going to do? You get some light struck garbage beer?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, cans all the time.
So we were the second brewery to can right behind Oscar Blues.
Yeah, you were like, hey, can I borrow some of that?
Yeah, we called them up. We were like, hey, man, like, how do you what kind of canning machine? And they're like, Gates told us the machine and all that, and it was like super cool. We were like, they showed us the machine, and it helped us get going, and I mean, it was like that too. Everybody was like super cool and like, hey man, like, we'll teach you how to can, and we've helped a lot of breweries like work their machinery and just get it all going. So it's been a lot of fun too with that kind of industry of just people like chilling, doing their thing.
Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to overcome the psychological barriers of switching to cans.
Yeah,
just because you kind of like, because I just have memories of my dad drinking Coors out of the can.
Yeah,
just being like, ugh.
Coors would have been like rich for my dad, like Black Label.
Yeah, for me as a kid, I was in Seattle, and so it was Rainier beer.
Oh, yeah, Rainier.
All the time. And, like, my best friend's dad worked for Rainier, so I was like, I can't wait till I can grow up and drink Rainier, you know? I was like, yeah, this is my goal. And then I finally had him like, this is awful. This is really bad. Why?
Really? And
every Sunday, just the pool, 90 of these things.
And
gross.
For us, it wasn't even the can light struck the quality of the beer, even though we knew that would probably be better. It was a matter of, it was our lifestyle. We were like, man, like, I was a whitewater kayaker at the time and Raptor, and we all
have glass
skied, and
bouncing
we all
around.
mountain bike. Yeah, and you had to take cans. We were like, wouldn't it be great to someday take our beer on a trip? Like, we're always going on these big camping trips, and we make beer and we can't ever bring it.
Let's load in these heavy ass bottles that'll break
or you're
for
trying
no
to drag a
reason.
5-gallon keg up a hill.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
So it was more of a lifestyle choice, and we never looked back, you know.
For sure, and I think the whole craft beer world kind of is like, yeah, there should be a lifestyle where it's like you can still go have fun and be like crazy, but like not be dangerous or litter. You know?
There was nothing worse than working
Public
in a brewery.
service announcement. Yeah.
We're helping the world, honestly.
Totally.
Plus, it saves on shipping costs because it's lighter.
Yeah,
Takes up less space. You can ship more for less.
Economic value. You know, you can put more cans on a pallet than a case of bottles, and
so
you gain some shipping. Like, you know, you gain
and the quality's better. And it's got a better story. The artwork could be a 360. The whole thing.
They cool down better, faster. It's great.
So there's like no drawbacks, but still, like the industry, like cans are for bad beer.
Yeah,
exactly. And now people are like, why would you ever put it in not a can?
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
Oh man.
All right, you got any innovations on the ska world that kind of helped turn it on its head and change people's opinions?
Innovation.
Yeah.
I'm just a defender. I'm not an innovator. So.
But have you seen any innovations that help like push ska into? Do you think push ska into the mainstream? Like, '94? What made ska possible on the radio?
Why did ska get on the radio in the 90s?
Besides '90s laissez-faire attitude with radio music, where anything went.
Well, I would say like that ska was like vibrant for like a good decade and a half into the underground. So I think everybody in the ska scene, all through the '80s and the early '90s, they were all kind of looking toward that moment when it was going to happen. Yeah. And so I think it was bound to happen at some point, you know?
Yeah. There was a funny moment there in the 90s. I remember they were asking like rock stars about fads, and I think Marilyn Manson was like, which fads don't you like? And he's like, ska. And then they interviewed the guys from Mighty Mighty Bosstones, and they were like, yeah, we've only been doing this for 25 years. Yeah, we're some fad. And that was the 90s. They were doing
I mean, Bosstones were signed in like 93.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like the first band on a major label.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like their first proper hit until like 97. So.
Yeah, and they'd been playing years and years.
And they were an indie band for a number of years. So
yeah, it was
I mean, ska was presented like a trend, but it wasn't. It was only like a trend in the sense that it was like suddenly on the radio, but it was probably one of the most vibrant underground scenes going for for years. Yeah. I don't know why it got picked up. I don't know. I mean, I think it was just like it could have been the 90s sort of like grab at anything.
Yeah. I think it could have been a lot because it was like the grunge was picking up. People were like, this worked. Maybe this will work.
But I think Sublime Date Rape was the first song and that was kind of a fluke. That was just that was a song that was like 3 years old.
Yeah,
and that just started getting played on radio in LA.
Had some ska background,
and then like people started requesting it, and I think Rancid, their Time Bomb was pretty early. Rancid were an established punk band.
Yeah, but they had a lot of ska roots, and so that was like Rancid probably was one of the guys too that really kept it. And
so I mean, I think with those two things, that just sort of like paved the way.
Yeah, Op Ivy even before had a lot of ska influence. You could tell, just. And then it just kind of picked up.
Yeah. And then there's, just films, because they're also in that movie about being in L.A.
Which band?
Slackers? Zuzu Riot guys.
Oh, Cherry Poppin' Daddies?
Daddies.
They were a ska band before they were a swing band.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Same thing.
Nobody knew the difference.
Nobody knew the difference.
What is it? Squirrel Nut Zippers for doing that?
Squirrel Nut Zippers.
They were not a ska band.
Right.
They were a swing band.
Right. They're the same.
The same thing.
Same thing.
In other words, the same thing.
They're the same.
Yeah.
I just want to be very clear. They wore the same outfits. They used the brass.
Same roots.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Much more. No additional historical precedents. Nothing like that. All right. So I've put my foot in my mouth on that one. You are right.
We'll get you trained up on the music and the beer. You're going to be all knowing here soon enough.
Yeah.
You can't just focus on beer all the time.
I know. I used to actually write music stuff. It's the whole thing. I used to be a lazy music journalist. You're not lazy one. I'm a very lazy one. Yeah.
Now you're a lazy podcaster?
Yeah, right. Don't do the research. Just stick it out there, see what happens. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, just throw it against the wall.
Yeah, but
totally
there's probably listeners who had the same mistake, and now they know that they're wrong.
But I think the listeners like that you're human and that you make the same mistakes as them.
For sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. They totally do.
Yeah.
But probably not.
You're not one of these elitists.
Yeah.
You're like a ska elitist.
I'll make mistakes, and I'll own up to them.
Yes, we all make mistakes. That's the way to do it.
See, the difference between me and an elitist is they won't own up to the mistake. I'm like, that was a mistake. We'll spend 5 minutes of me apologizing and groveling.
Yeah.
And being like, no. I was thinking of something else. I wrote for a punk rock web zine back in the early 2000s, focusing on the not punk aspect. So I got fired when they're like, we're going to punk. We're going to stick to straight up punk. Your weird shit isn't needed anymore. You can go.
You can go.
Like, you don't want to hear about weird, dancey death metal? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear my interviews with avant-garde world musicians? Okay.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
They're not getting clicks? That's fine.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Drink ska beer while you're listening to this.
Yeah, which is available in California.
Yes.
Right.
Northern California, it's a little trickier.
Yeah.
We're working on some distribution lines, but Southern Cal, it's down there.
Yeah, because I've seen Modus here and there. Like,
Yeah, we were in the Rayleighs with Modus and our Modus Band Arena.
Yeah.
And then we were just kind of using a broker because we weren't sure how much we could capacity wise. But we've leveled off and we've found some more capacity, so we're going to try to open up some more area. So
yeah, branch
it out. I'm looking at talks to Total Wine guys and some of those guys. So you can look for us in those places for now.
So is your primary market like selling like the canned or whatever, as opposed to like to restaurants or
yeah,
tap room
the package is definitely that's been a shift over the years too. It used to kind of be even and draft drove package, but a lot of bars rotate so much that I don't think that happens anymore. So your package is hard. Your grocery, you want to work in the grocery, California especially grocery stores. So those can be difficult sometimes to get in if you're not a full national brand with a footprint, and we're not. So we have a lot of meetings and we're working on it.
I imagine that when you're at the grocery store buying beer, you're probably more likely to buy the beer you like. When you're at the restaurant, you might be more likely to be like, "Whoa, what's this thing I never had? What do you got on draft?
What's new?"
What's new? Because you're gonna buy 6 of them, and that's like a different purchasing choice.
Yeah.
Knowing like, if I don't like this, I have 5 more of them.
Like when we first started, when I used to place a handle back even early 2000s, it stuck for a year. You were like, sweet, I'm in that bar. That's at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Now you're like, if it's gone in 3 days, you're like, sweet, that sold in 3 days, still done? Oh, no, we're done. I'm like, it's sold in 3 days, dude. He sold a whole keg in 3 days.
Yeah, I know. Restaurants are very about rotating now.
I'm like, man, that's a good seller for you. You might want to keep that around a little longer. No, we've already done it. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like we're on to the next. It's just how we do it now.
Yeah, so that's been a tough, you have to negotiate that.
Yeah. Like to be the home tap, this is the one you just have on year round.
Or just knowing that that's not going to stick, so you got to just go try to place it more and more, so that they'll rotate in and out and come back to that guy in 3 months, like, hey, we sold well for you, then try this one now, and just having the products to move around.
Yeah. Now, we talked to a lot of breweries and stuff like that about kind of how beer is shifting, and you probably noticed a lot of the rosé ales.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't know if this is going to fit in your. We've talked about Sublime briefly, but you could call it don't practice sangria as a beer name. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Well, we might be looking at that.
Yeah.
Sangria.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That might be good. We might have to think.
He's got good ideas.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'm like, I gotta say it. Because it's in my head and it has to come out.
We've been, there's been definitely a trend and I think even the haze craze is people didn't want that hop taste, but they wanted to say they had an IPA, but they want mellow hop flavors. So it was like, that's a way to do it. And I think that the people have spoken. That's what they kind of want.
What do you guys call your hazy?
We don't have one yet.
No, nice.
It's going to be called hazy.
You still stuck to it? No, not
yet. We're making one.
We're
it's
still
on its
refusing.
Way. It's on its
That's
way.
a long holdout.
Yeah, we didn't make an IPA for a long time, too. That turned to be one of the best in the country for a long time. So we're like, let's just see how it all plays out, then we'll make one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because back then, that could have been a fad.
Yeah.
It's a crazy idea. Why do people want something this bitter all the time?
Yeah, because when we first started, it was ambers.
Yeah.
Have you gone down the sour path?
Yeah, we got an amazing sour. It's called Pink Vapor Stew.
Yeah.
So that's a line from a bad Fishbone.
Nice.
That's a Fishbone song. The world's going to die in a pink vapor stew. So we made that. We made it with beets, carrots, apples, and ginger.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And it's super pink. I mean, it's like... it's amazing. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And we sell a lot. It's got a cult following.
Yeah. So the latest thing in beer is hazies or
hazies,
or is there
sours.
something else?
Hazy now. There's the brutes. We actually make an excellent brute. I'm going to say that to everybody. Moral Panic, and it's amazing. It's got the flavors. We do it right. We brewed that thing 10 times before we put it out because we just couldn't get it right, and then we got it, and we were like, nailed it. But I've had some bad ones out there too, and it's a bummer because it's actually hurting the style. People now have got they're gun shy on them.
Yeah. The first one I ever had was I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great thing. I can't wait to make all of these.
Yeah.
Then the next 5 I have were just awful. I'm like, this might have been a fluke.
You need to try ours. Look for some Moral Panic. We'll get it to you.
All right. Bring it. I'll just travel to Southern California, pick it up.
Yeah.
Go to Colorado.
What is a brute? I'm sorry.
Oh. It's a new style of IPA. It's kind of started out making with champagne yeast. So it's a little more clear than the hazy IPAs, but it's got that kind of profile. Low bitterness, big aroma, so you can feel a big hop smell. And then, you can use glucoamylase, too, to break down the carbohydrates so it gets more dry. And it's really nice. Done right, it's really good.
Okay. But some people, when they brew it, it washes the hops out, but the malt sticks, and it's like really sticky and weird.
Yeah, you got to break them down.
You got to really nail it.
So that you might get too much malt taste?
Yeah. It just becomes cloying and weird in your mouth.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot like that, and like some that just wash right out entirely, and it's so good.
Yeah.
You just keep going. It's wonderful.
Yeah, the first few sours I tried were really bad, too. I wasn't sure about them, because the first few I tried were like really heavy on the vinegar taste.
Yeah.
And then someone gave me one that was like a tart raspberry, and I was like, okay, I get it now.
We shoot for more tart as well, you know, like that's what you want. You know, some people like that Jowl Punch sour, and that's like Sour Patch Kids. But we shoot for the more tart level, and it's really, you can get some nice flavors.
I agree.
And they can use so many fun ingredients, man. So you got a show tonight, they were saying.
Yeah, I'm playing up in Oakland.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah. Well, there it is. Go up to Oakland. Of course, this will be over. This won't be on by the time you missed the show in Oakland. Everyone, listening. So as you can see, this is a perfect segue. Modus is 10 years old this year, so modus operandi. So we changed the can and put a little gold on there to signify 10 years this year.
Gold anniversary.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that we have a beer older than a lot of the breweries out there. Yeah. But
this is a good beer.
Yeah, it's a nice malty. It's got a nice big hop profile, but we got a little malt backbone in there to keep the balance. And
I like that you guys are still selling this and it's selling well. Because this kind of IPA kind of has gone by the wayside.
Oh, yeah, and there's been kind of a small push in underground, even Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is still excellent. And
still great.
There's just guys like, I've had that. I'm like, well, you can have it again.
Drink it again.
Don't be afraid.
It holds up.
It's still...
I'm a big pusher for the old school IPAs. I'm still I want that. I don't want hazy. I don't want this weird dank fruity thing you're doing. I'll rip my throat out with a little bit of malt backbone to help it. That's what I want in my IPAs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the new stuff and innovation, but it's it's hard. Some people just it's like don't forget who brought you to the dance. You know, some of these beers were the ones.
Yeah, those classics.
Every day we hear Modus was the beer that got me into this and IPAs, and then I'm like, you should
come back.
You should keep buying it.
Try it again. I have opinions about beers.
100. How many episodes are you at? 103? Is that
103? Yeah.
Yeah, 103 episods. I have some opinions. I say things.
I don't really share them too much, honestly.
We don't need it.
But
how we doing?
We're doing great. You guys, you want to get out of here? You guys want to go mill about?
Yeah, I might have to help the booth.
You have a job to do?
Maybe.
All right, guys, this has been episode 103. Where can people find you guys, Ska Brewing? Arlo, where can they find you?
All right, Ska Brew, Arlo on Instagram, Ska Brewing, Facebook, few of those. Ska Brew, Arlo on Facebook. You can always find me there. The brewery. Yeah. Or you might see me somewhere in the world.
And Aaron, where can people find you and Narboots? Well, I guess you can go find Narboots on Facebook. And I'm just on Facebook. I don't have any... I haven't made the website or Facebook for my book yet, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
It'll be up soon.
Send it over my way once you got it. So we
for
can,
sure, thank you.
What's the title again? Defending Ska?
In Defense of Ska.
In Defense of Ska, man.
In Defense of Ska Brewing. So this has been
Defense of Ska Brewing.
So this has been episode 103, In Defense of Ska Brewing, with Arlo Grammatica. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Aaron Carnes, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening. Get home safe.
Killer.